I've been investing $60 every paycheck into 12 dividend paying stocks for the past 96 weeks, and you're about to see what it's turned into. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it's your first time here. My name is Troy, and when I began my investing journey, I used to scroll around on YouTube trying to find other investors that I could relate to, and I used to see plenty of portfolios with thousands or tens of thousands of dollars in them, and I became a little bit overwhelmed and intimidated. This is simply because I didn't have thousands or tens of thousands of dollars to start with, so I was stuck getting started, which is sadly where a lot of people fall off. As a creator, I wanted to see if I could do something about that, which is why I started this series. I began this portfolio from the ground up with real money and have recorded the results bi-weekly for coming up on 2 years now. So if you find yourself stuck getting started, which is where I was 2 years ago, I'll link episode 1 above so you can go back and watch that episode and any other episode that might catch your interest so you can see where this portfolio started and where we are now. But now let's go ahead and refresh ourselves on where we left off last episode. Last episode, this portfolio reached a new all-time high and was sitting at a value of $3,250.81. Factored into that all-time high, we were up 11.69% or $335.89 in unrealized market gains since starting the portfolio from $0 right here on the channel. As the market ebbs and flows, and no matter what fear other channels try to sell you with their heads in their hands and red screens, we remain consistent and keep investing. Speaking of that, let's check out the latest example of that with my most recent buys right here. All of this episode's buys took place on November 14th of 2025. Since this portfolio is now 96 weeks old and the goal is to add $5 into each stock bi-weekly, the goal amount for each of the 12 positions now sits at $245. And here you can see that we're right on track, or at least close enough to count, since Fidelity doesn't let you invest anything under $1 at a time. Now, let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit and check out the overall trend of this portfolio and some bigger picture numbers. Looking at this chart, you can see all the movement in this portfolio going back to day one. Despite what some internet geniuses try to tell you, timing the market is very hard to do, which is why we just do good old-fashioned dollar cost averaging every other week so we don't wind up missing out on the best days since we don't know when they're going to happen. If you look to the far right of this chart, you can see that with episode 49, we are starting a little bit of a downtrend, which is why you're seeing those negative videos from other creators. Well, that and because it's easy to prop up content with sex appeal or fear. But anyway, as I said, I have no clue if this is the bottom or the fall is just beginning, so we'll buy no matter what. As long as that trend line continues to point up and to the right over the long haul, like it historically does at about a 10% clip on average per year, we'll be just fine, and those little blips of bad news will be just that as time passes, little blips. At the time of recording, this portfolio was sitting at a value of $3,223.15, and that dot for today's episode has this portfolio up $245.84 or 8.38% all time. Now I wanted to go ahead and share with you which stocks are performing the best and worst in this portfolio all time with this right here. With this update, once again, the best performer in this portfolio is Broadcom, or AVGO, that's actually given back a lot of money since last episode and is now only up $212.01 or 86.59%. What a disgrace. Speaking of a disgrace, I mean the stock that's on hard times. The worst performer in this portfolio remains Old Dominion Freight Line, or ODFL, which has also given back some money over the past 2 weeks and is now down $61.73 or 25.22%. As always, here's my cost basis chart so you can see the cost basis of these stocks and if it's going up or down. As I stated, I believe in last episode, you can spin any of these numbers to be good or bad. All I know is that I'm going to keep buying and see where we are as time passes and track it all here on the channel. Next, I want to go ahead and share with you the passive income that has trickled into this account just since last episode, so let's look at that right here. Over the past 2 weeks, I've gotten paid 2 times just for sitting back and doing nothing, as passive as it gets. On November 7th, I received 35 cents from MasterCard, stock ticker MA. Looking at this chart, you can see that with every single payment I've gotten from this holding, it's been more than the last payment, which you'd like to see with a dividend growth position. In total, MasterCard has now paid me $1.39, which amounts to 3.73% of the total income received in this account. Lastly, on November 14th, I was paid from the highest yielder in this portfolio, AbbVie, or stock ticker ABBV, in the amount of $2.04. Checking out their chart, you can see much of the same. Each payout that comes in is larger than the last, and in total, AbbVie has now paid me $8.37, which is 22.43% of the total income made in this account all time. On this chart, you can see that so far in November, we're up to $2.55, which doesn't sound like much because it's not, but it is 116.1% higher than what we made last November, so I'm not complaining. Later in the video, we'll check to see what else, if anything, is still expected for November, so more on that later. So far for 2025, we've now crossed the $30 mark and now sit at $30.07, which is already 315.3% higher than all of last year, and we still have the rest of November and all of December to push that bar even higher for 2026. One of the cool things we're also tracking with this portfolio is stacking the dividends and interest until we have enough money to do a bonus investment. Let's go ahead and see just how close we're getting to the very first bonus investment into this portfolio with this right here. Since all of the holdings in this portfolio have very different yield amounts, I didn't want them getting out of balance, so I'm holding on to all those dividends in the cash balance of this portfolio. Once that gets up to one normal investment, aka $60, I'll do a bonus investment of $5 into each stock, which will only help them grow that much faster. With that being said, last episode we had a bonus investment date sitting at June 15th of 2026, and now we have a new projected bonus investment date of June 1st, 2026, which is 14 days sooner than the last bonus projection. By putting these updates out bi-weekly like I currently do, that alone puts us 14 days closer to the last projection with each episode. Since we're also making progress, it's basically like we're moving 28 days closer to the bonus investment with each passing update, which is how I make June of 2026 sound a little bit closer in my head. On the screen now is a chart that shows the projected bonus investment date going back to the day this portfolio was started, where that initial projection sat at December 6th of 2134, which is a little harder to make sound closer, so I'm glad we've made a lot of progress since day one. Since that chart is a little difficult to see and will only be harder to see as we do more and more updates, I made this chart that plots the last 10 episodes bonus investment dates so we can see the progress a little bit easier. Even though the progress is slow, there is progress nonetheless, and after we know exactly how many days it took to hit that first bonus investment, we'll be off to the races to crush that for the second bonus investment. Now earlier, I told you that we were going to check to see what the rest of November has in store for us in terms of passive income, so let's check on that right here. The next update to this portfolio will be on December 1st of 2025, believe it or not. Between now and then, about all we're expecting is the days that continue to get shorter and colder and the interest payment at the end of the month on that bonus investment cash while we wait. While that sucks for me and you guys, I haven't looked ahead to December, so we can all be surprised together if that makes you feel any better. Will we be able to end November on a high note and make some money, or are we going to close 2025 headed in the wrong direction? Tell me what you predict down in the comments and meet me back here in 2 weeks to find out. If you find this series entertaining or helpful, do me a favor, tap on that like button as it's free to you, no strings attached, and it helps other people find the series. Do you have any questions or suggestions to make this series even better? If so, let me know down in the comments as I personally read and respond to every single comment. And if you're curious what this portfolio could turn into years from now, check out this video right here. But until next time, see you.